and welcome. You are listening to At Home with Ifeno. Here, we'll talk about helping women know and understand their worth, find fulfillment in who they are, and in what they do. Every other week, we'll talk about your identity as a woman, discovering your unique purpose, intentionally raising the next generation, and your influence in homemaking. I am your host, Ifoma Nneka Omoni. Hello, and welcome to another interesting time on At Home with Ifeno. It looks like it's been a long time I saw you or I spoke with you. Why does it feel like it's been a long time? So how are you doing? The year is really running fast. Wow. When did we finish how many months? And here we are today. But you know what? Today is a new day. Today is a great day. And it's another opportunity to add value to ourselves and definitely to our homes. So I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are in the world. I welcome you specially to today's episode. It promises to be very, very interesting. Why? Because I have a special guest on our platform today. Yes. She's very unique. In fact, when I was reading her bio, I said, wow, what a sacrifice she has made. You know, she had to give up this lucrative and enticing career path for something greater, I would say. But I don't want to just say so much about her. She'll be in the best position to introduce herself. But before I bring her up today, our topic of focus for today is your home, the first school of life. Your home, the first school of life. I have with me today Mrs. Tomilola Olatunde. Let us give her a warm At Home with Ifeno welcome. You are welcome. How are you today?
Thank you so much for. I'm doing good. Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
We are more delighted to have you, Tomi. So you see how I got to know Tomi. I can't really say I know her. I'm getting to know her, but it was through someone else I got to know what she's doing, and that's why it's very important to have the right connections, meet the right people, because they could be the ladder to connect you to your next level or wherever you are desiring to be. And I believe today's episode would play that role. So I want you to get to your relaxed mode. Take your tea, water, coffee, be you at home, in your shop, wherever you are. Just stay tuned and listen attentively. It promises to be a rewarding time. My guest is Tomilola Olatunde. I want Tomi to introduce herself in a way that we will never miss that it is her when we hear her name. So I will say, Tomilola, when we hear your name, we know there are many Tomilolas in the world. But when we hear Tomilola Olatunde that came to At Home with Ifeno, what do you want my listeners to always remember about you? Who is Tomilola Olatunde?
Okay, so my name is Tomilola Olatunde, and I am a stay-at-home mom and a homeschooling mom. I homeschool my two children from Lagos, Nigeria, and I run a blog. A mom blog, which I'm trying to 100% focus on now. I also do product photography on the side. So, but basically, yes, that's what I am mostly about.
Okay, so if you notice, my listeners, she said she gave us 2-in-1 title at the beginning: Stay-at-home mom and homeschooling. They are completely different. So for you to be a homeschooling mom, it means your children are not going outside your home to school. when I heard that someone in Nigeria is doing that, I said, wow, this is serious. This is a lot, because I am not a homeschooling mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I know what I go through to be intentional, being a stay-at-home mom. There are some days when your body will just be like, you don't feel like standing up, but you just have to stand up. So for Tommy to be doing the homeschooling, that is, her children learn every day from her. It's something we should really celebrate her. And I want to say you are highly celebrated, and we commend you for this journey you have started. And I'm sure one or two people would learn from whatever you'll be sharing with us today. So thank you. And I just want to ask, before you start to tell us about today's topic, with all the work you do, is there anything you take out time to do to relax? Because you are really working hard. I don't need to be at home with you, but I know. So how do you relax, Tommy?
How do I relax? I watch movies.
Okay.
I watch movies. I take a day off. Whatever I do, and at the end of the year, I have some time off too.
Okay. So is it intentional, or is it something that is structured?
Oh yeah. Okay. I intentionally take the day off, one day off in the week.
Okay.
And then I watch movies whenever I have free time. For like, I'll replace work with a movie sometimes.
Okay.
So instead of working, I'll just watch a movie.
Okay.
Yeah, because I enjoy watching series, so that's what I do.
Okay. So Tommy is telling us mothers that are at home, you need to take a break so that you don't break. You need to relax. You need to be intentional about your resting time. We know that you love your family, you love your children, you love your husband. But Tommy is telling us that you just need to take that break. You need to relax. So please, let's learn from that, starting from Ifeno herself. Okay, so let's go into today's discussion. From your experience, especially as a homeschooling mom, how would you define a school? What actually is a school?
A school. Yes. I would say a school is where, should I say is or supposed to be where education happens. Yeah. Okay. That's my short definition. Where people learn.
Where people learn.
They're educated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how can our homes be seen as that foundational school? Because our topic says your home, the first school of life. First of all, do you believe that our homes are the first school where we should learn from, or we should learn things, or we should be educated?
Absolutely. I always say that everybody is a home educator. I always say that every parent is a home educator, because regardless of whether your children go to a school or they're at home, they leave from home and they come back home. And it's very, very important. And there's a saying that says that, the parents are the first teachers. And it is important that we know and don't just be comfortable with the fact that our children, they go to school in the morning and they come back in the afternoons, to think that, that's just the only education that happens. I know that most parents don't think that that's just the only education, like when they go to school. I know that most parents don't think that, but the shortfall comes because when you keep going every single day, by the year one, you will still be thinking, oh yes, it's intentional, I'm doing this, right? That's when they are going to school. But by year 4, you are already tired. We are just going through the motions, dropping off, and by the time they keep growing older, you just assume that as they are growing older, they already know some of these things, right? And that is where the lacks can come in. But we need to keep every year renewing our commitment to being in the process of educating our children, because they are always at home, they come from home, and they come back home, right? The things that you are teaching them might not necessarily be about the homework or the technicalities of maths, English, and all of that. Those have its place, right? But you have, if your children go to school, have outsourced that one, which is not a bad thing, right? But there are other things that make a wholesome child away from just the academics. And those are the things that they might not necessarily get in school. And that is where your focus should now be as a parent. If you have, for every parent, in short, you just have double work as a homeschooling parent, because you have to work with the academics and also do this other one, right? So, but if your children are in school, there are other things that make them wholesome more than academics, right? You notice a bad behavior in your child, they will only tell you about it in the school. It takes a teacher that goes the extra mile to work on a behavior for your child. But you notice that behavior. You might not see it a lot because they spend some time in school, but when they are home and you notice something, quickly catch it and start correcting it. And that's part of the learning. That's part of raising a wholesome child. You notice something that your child might be lacking as well. So maybe if you have your child is, maybe you have a child that is shy or something, but you know that in their future they will need to be able to be assertive, they will need to be able to come out of their shell. You can start working on that from now, right? From whenever you notice it. So it's more than academics. That's my point. My point is that it's more than academics, and we have so many more things to work on, right? So many more things to work on than just that, and which is why our job is cut out for us, regardless of whether your child goes to school or not.
Wow. So Tomi is telling us that as parents, we need to renew our commitment to our children's learning, and our children's learning is beyond the academics, is beyond what they do in school. I heard her clearly talking about things like behavioral patterns, because she said your children will leave home and they will always come back home. So we see that the home is still like the starting point and the finishing point of everything. So because they don't live in the air or in the sky. Yes, so they will leave home, they will go to school, and they will come back home. That means that we should be able to observe our children. We should be able to pick when there are things that are strange or things that are not going well. So we need to be very observant. It is beyond just paying fees and taking them to international school or the high paying school fees and things like that. She's telling us that our homes are actually the school of life. So she has come to tell me today that the home is actually where it begins and where it will end. Thank you so much. So how can parents, because someone will be listening and be saying, Ifeno, this is your guest. She's saying this because she's at home and she has decided to stay at home to even homeschool her children. That is why she's talking like this. And she might even be doing what she's doing because maybe her husband is in a very high paying job. Tomi, let me share something with you. When I was staying back at home, I got some feedback from some people saying that I decided to stay back at home because my husband is in a very lucrative job, and I was laughing. I was laughing because it wasn't true. I decided to stay back at home before even my children started. I started having my children. it was a decision. I vividly remember my husband saying, "Are you sure you don't want me to get you a job?" I said, mm-mm. In fact, I didn't really understand why I just decided, because back in the university, I was thinking, I'll work in a bank, because my father was a banker for a long time. So I was already thinking that through my dad, I'll get a banking job. But as I rounded off school, my mindset changed. I started having the entrepreneurial mindset. So that was how I said, I'm not going for job hustling. People were looking for jobs. That time we're living in service. I wasn't interested. So I'm sure my listener might be saying, oh, Tommy is saying this because maybe our husband works in one big oil company and they don't have issues with finance. How can you encourage parents to know that beyond the financial provision they make for their children, how would they see the needs and practical ways that they can get involved in their children's learning?
So in getting involved in your children's learning, there's no finances involved. I mean, like, there's no finances, like, quote and unquote, involved. I mean, your child is going to school already, right? Or are we talking to people that their children are not going to school?
No, they are going to school.
if we're talking to people that, if you are talking about people that children are going to school, the finances is involved is that you have sent your child to school, right? And you are paying school fees. That's the finances. What extra do you want? You already buy toys in your house. It's for your children, right? I mean, I don't think there's any parent that you go to their house and you at least you will not find one toy. You find one toy, at least, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody that you go to their house that they have children that you won't find something that looks like, oh, there's a child in this house. You will find that. So the things that require finances, we are already doing them. So all that is left is your commitment. And that does not cost you 1 naira. It doesn't cost you 1 naira to be committed. It doesn't cost you 1 naira to make a decision that I am deciding that I am going to be intentional about the things that I want to teach my children. I'm going to be intentional about being involved even when they go to school. And involvement is not more than extra, maybe 5 minutes. When you come down, when you drop your child off at school, involvement can mean stopping by to talk to the child's teacher, to have a conversation after school when you're picking up, to ask more questions, to even find out about the teacher and where their mind is at, what is happening in their life, that kind of a thing. So you will understand the state of mind that the person that's teaching your child is in, which is very, very, very important, because the person can be going through a lot in their lives, and then they can be taken out on the children, or they might just know how to, you sense that, okay, maybe they will know how to draw the line. Those little things they will not cost you extra. Intentionality can mean that you want to teach your children the values, your values, and instead of waiting for them to just grab it by watching you also add telling them about it. Before they go to school, you decide and you make a decision that before we leave the home, we have to pray. Or before we leave the home, we have to recite a Bible verse. And all that takes is you planning to know the Bible verse you want to teach them the night before, and making sure that they read it throughout the whole week. And by the next week, you pick another one. Because by 1 week, at least they will know that one Bible verse. And the next week, and so, or in the car when you are going to school in the morning, you play an audio book for everybody to be listening. You know, it is just a decision, and that would not cost us anything extra than what we already spend, because we like to buy things for our children even before we think of ourselves. We'll see one toy on Instagram, we'll see one thing. By the time it's their birthday, you plan to buy it for them. By the time is this, you plan to buy it for them. Somebody talks about this amazing resource, you buy it. So we already do those things. We already paid the school fees. The thing that is extra is those other extra hours that before they leave the home and when they come back. So what are we doing in those times? And most of it is just a decision for us. That toy that you bought for them, that resource that you bought for them, okay, my decision is that when they come back from school, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we'll sit down together and play with that resource. You see that, money has not entered yet. Money has not entered. It's not about my husband is working anywhere. It's not about I don't have extra income. It's not about, see, even if you don't have the resource, the fact that you sit down with your child 10, 15, 20 minutes when they get back from school during their downtime to just gist. The things that will come out for you from them, you will be amazed. As young as 1 year old, 0 years old, they always need that interaction. As young as that. You will see, if you know, just try and do an experiment. Sit down with a baby or sit down with a 1 year old. Play with the child. The child will always be trying to get your attention. And just ignore the child for like 2 minutes. Then play with the child. You will see the difference. You will see the difference in the reaction. Sometimes by the time you just look at them, they'll just laugh. If you're not looking, they are not laughing. Do you understand? It's true. So, and imagine from 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year olds, those 2 years old, 3 years, between them, those ones, they are already giving you some small words. And you are talking to them, they are talking back at you. You're talking to them, they're talking back at you. It's not rocket science. Another is as simple as maybe teaching your children your native language. Speaking to them in your native language, that can be the intentionality that you want to bring into your parenting. Those, as in, they are little things, and it's not going to cost us more than our decision making. Nothing more than that. Making a decision and committing to the process.
So Tomi is saying that decision will determine our children's future, and it is not going to cost us pounds, dollars, the money that we are running for, which is important. We don't take that for granted. But she's saying it has to do with planning, time, a decision, and then follow up. She also gave us suggestions of things that we can get intentional about in making our home the first school of life. So this is not just about maths and English, like we said. She talked about something very interesting, our language, which is one area that many people have been saying, particularly in Nigeria, that many of our languages are getting extinct. We are not speaking our languages to our children. I am a culprit, so let me confess my sin. Let me confess. So I understand the language, but my problem now is how to speak it. And they have been pulling my ears. Tomi has said that we can use our language to interact with our children, to pass on those values and things that we don't want to get lost to our children. We don't need to wait for their class teachers to teach them our language. So she's saying it's not about how much we are paying. It is about a decision we have made up our mind. It is about interaction. I got that too. She said being intentional has to do with interaction, getting a feedback from the children, just listening to them. And I can testify to that because whenever my children come back, my ears are full. They'll tell me everything that happened in their class, who did what did that. And through her interaction with me, I start seeing the loopholes, whether what to correct, what to encourage her to continue to do or him to do.
Exactly.
So she's telling us that being parents that we are, we need to be intentional. It's beyond just provision of the finances. We need to create that time and make that commitment. So it's not that we do it today and before the children express themselves to us, it might be another 3 months. So much would have gone down the road before we realize what is really happening to our children. Thank you so much. So before we gradually bring this discussion to an end, can you just share with our listeners what you do online. I know you have a YouTube channel. I know you've written a book. Just let us know more about your online presence so that our listeners can connect with you.
Okay, so I have a blog, www.thecuddleblog.com. So the blog is basically an extension of what I do on my Instagram. My Instagram is at thecuddleblog.com. I try to encourage parents to create experiences for their children from home, right? Regardless of whether they are homeschooling or not. So creating experiences for their children from home and also outdoors, basically. Then I have a book for stay-at-home moms, specifically for stay-at-home moms, just encouraging stay-at-home moms in their decision and giving them the freedom to, to choose, right? To choose. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put the links on how we can get her book, and I think I saw a resource material, I think for age 1 to 5 or so, which could benefit, even if we are not a homeschooling mom, like she has said, it would help and give us ideas of what we can do with our children back at home. So before you go, Tomi, what 3 things can you tell our listeners that they should intentionally do so that their homes will be that school of life and create those experiences you just talked about for their children? Give us your parting words on how our homes can be conducive and bring those beautiful memories to our children.
Okay. First of all, I think the most important thing is to make your home, the home environment comfortable for the children that are in it. Remember that they are now part of that home. So the way our homes are set up before we have children, right, is not children friendly. The first thing I think, and most important thing, is you restructure your home to add the children that are in it so that they feel comfortable. So you don't have to be shouting every time somebody touches something or saying, no, you don't go there, don't do this, don't do that. If you have young children that are crawling, you make sure you now pad the floors, remove the center table, you proof the home, like cover sockets, all those kind of things. That is making the place comfortable for the child, because the child is also part of the home. If you leave all those things, that's when you're like, oh, carry the child away from there. Don't touch this thing. He's climbing on the center table. Oh, don't let him hit his head. Don't let him this, don't let him that. And if you have older children as well, you'd receive their inputs in how they think the house should be arranged, kind of thing, right? Or what do you like about the decor, things like that, right? Of course, you know when to draw the line, because of course children have such amazing imaginations, but to make them feel part of the home is very important, because they can feel comfortable in this space. And the tension in the home, we should need to release a little bit of the tension, right? And so that it's not like, oh, every time they get home, hey, mommy is shouting, mommy, daddy is this one, hey, you cannot even do anything, everybody is tensed up. There's no atmosphere of relaxation, no atmosphere of love. As little as having a Bluetooth speaker and playing music for everybody to just be in a good mood can change everything and make everybody feel relaxed and welcome. So first of all, I'll say that let the home be conducive for the children that are living in it. Secondly, I'll say create experiences for your children. And when I mean experiences, it's not necessarily outside the home, first from inside the home. And the reason why I say experiences is that you can now touch on different aspects of life where you can now teach them things about those different aspects of life. And that resource that I have is theme-based, And this is how you can do it for yourself, right? You don't necessarily have to buy what I'm selling, but I'm saying you can do it for yourself regardless of the age, right? So you pick a theme of the things that you can work on, maybe weekly or maybe monthly, right? So your month theme can be cooking, and what you guys will do, fun activities around cooking, bring them into the kitchen, or you are in charge of this, you are in charge of that. Create recipes, let them read the recipes, let them see the new words, understand what measurement is about, cooking. Everybody is involved. So maybe once, if you're doing 4 weekends in the month, you have now 4 things that you want to cook with your children. You write the recipes down, you give them ahead of time, you create anticipation. Oh, this weekend we are cooking jollof rice, this is all we need. Involve them in the shopping process. Even if you're ordering online, let them know that, oh, we're buying tomatoes, we are buying this, the tomatoes will cost us this, tomatoes will cost us that. That's life. That is how they are going to live when they leave your house as well. So involve them in the process. After month 1, you've done cooking. Month 2, you can do public speaking in your home. As in, if you have older children, you can do public speaking and say, okay, this month, this is the topic. Research, you go and research on the topic. You help them in the research process, right? If they are not yet conversant with technology and all, but if they're old enough, let them go to the process. Use Google. Google has audio prompts. They don't have to know how to type. Audio prompts is there. Research the topic. Watch a YouTube video to tell you about the topic. Then create your own speech that you will give in front of the whole house. Whether you, daddy, mommy, the children, the nanny, anybody that is on. If you have neighbors, bring them and join. You get? So that it's more interesting. And these are the things that will now start coming out. They will learn public speaking from home. From home. And you as a parent, do you have to do the public speaking? Not necessarily. If you two are learning, you can join in the process. So everybody's learning together. The next month, you can pick finance, money, teach them about money. Go out to the bank, show them how inflation works, this and that. And from as little as 1 year old, I assure you, you can downgrade these teachings to as little as 1 year old. You can upgrade the teaching to as big as 10 years old. Everybody has their size. If it's 1 year old, what are you teaching them about money? You're showing them the money. You're just showing them. This is 5 naira. This is 10 naira. This is 20 naira. They will not know it, but they are experiencing it. Which is why I'm saying, give your children experiences. They're experiencing the money. They are touching it. They are feeling it. They are seeing the texture. Okay, 20 naira is different from how 100 naira feels. 20 naira is shiny. Is sensory activities for younger children. But for older children, what are they learning? How to give change. 1,000 naira. How does it break into? What has 500 naira and 500 naira got to do with? Is that not maths? That's maths.
Yeah.
And that's what they will do in their life. Right? So you pick out different topics. If you want to change a behavior in your child and you've seen a behavior that you don't like, put it in a theme. You can say that what we are doing today is virtues. We're talking about patience. We'll give examples. We'll write essay. We'll this, we'll that, and create fun activities around patience, such that by the time you are done that month, your child has learned what patience is about. And they now understand it better that, okay, this is why mommy has always been saying, be patient, be patient, be patient. Do you understand? So, give your children experiences. And the third thing I would say is take them outside. And when I mean take them outside, I do not mean that, and I'm not saying, if you have the money, you understand? If you have the money, please go out a lot, right? But if you don't, as little as, and I'm speaking from experience, as little as walking around your neighborhood every day. That's why consistency is very, very key. Every day, and every day you will not see the same things. You will not see the same thing, no matter what. Because people are dynamic. They'll move, they'll this, they'll change this, they'll change that. Seasons change. So different things are always different. Every single day. The bed you saw there yesterday, you won't see today. When you go out, the person doing construction, by the time it's the next 2 months, they have finished their construction.
Yeah.
So you will see them in the process where they started building. You see that you go when you are going out, you see them when they finish the building. Those are experiences. That goat you saw yesterday, you won't see tomorrow.
Wow.
The gardener you see by the road, you will not see it tomorrow. So, and these are the things that your children, you have to understand that children, all these things are new to them. They are old to you, they are new to them. You, when you go out, you are just seeing, why is there traffic? Why is there this? Your child is noticing, oh, the sky is blue, the flower is yellow. Your children are seeing things. You are worried about, there's no fuel. Why is that Okada man riding like that? What is driving? That's what you are thinking about, because our own mind is already advanced more than seeing flower, more than floor is wet. Oh, jumping into the puddle. You want to avoid it. Your child wants to jump inside. You see that our thinkings are different. So go outside. Evening stroll every day. So give your children those experiences. Like I said, when you go out every day, things are not the same. Evening strolls every day is possible, right? So evening strolls can be another.
Even if our busy parents say we don't have time during the week, at least weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we can make that one, as in.
Yeah, absolutely. So evening strolls is also outdoor time that you can give. Yeah, so those are the things that I would say that are, for me personally, I would say are the most important things when you want to make your home a learning place. Make your home a learning place without necessarily making it look like, oh, you're doing another school at home.
Wow, this is really, really interesting. Let me just give a recap of those very salient points she made that will help our home to be conducive, to be attractive to our children, and that they will see it as another place of learning in fun or with fun. So the first thing is, she said that we need to create that environment for our children. Let our children not feel that, this house is just for mommy and daddy. Anytime we touch something, they will shout. Anytime we do this. So if you have younger children that maybe they're still trying to find their way, touch the remote, touch wires. I remember that time when my children were still young, many things were not left on the car. You couldn't put it within their reach. All the controls, we carried them up. We did so many things. So she's trying to tell us that we need to create that environment, prepare the environment to be friendly to the age of our children, so that they will feel they belong to that place, so that they won't feel left out, and it will also be a place that they always look forward to coming back to, even if they are schooling outside the home. The second thing she said is we need to reduce the tension, and this is very, very critical. I know there are some children, older children, that I got to know some that it was affecting even their learning in school. Why? I think their parents, when they have disagreements, they showed it out to the children to the point where it affected the children. The children were not looking forward to even coming back home, because there will always be one rancor or the other. So Mrs. Tommy is encouraging us parents that we need to reduce the tension. Let it not be that anytime we come home, there is one argument or the other, there is one, let us try to reduce that tension. There has been so much tension outside the home. Home is a place where we should come back to relax, to ease up the tension, to be able to laugh, to share our experiences. And then thirdly, which is the one that I really liked, she said, create experiences for your children. And she was really broad in that area. She talked about how you can do theme learning. Take a theme. Maybe you decide that this month your children will learn about cooking for the older ones. Or even the younger ones, they could just be there to observe and watch you, see how you do the chopping of the carrots or whatever, vegetables, get them involved. And you'll find out that by the time it is the end of the year, after taking one theme for each month, our children will have been vast in learning beyond what is being done in school. So we see that as another way of impacting our children. She talked about also trying to use our environment, take strolls, let our children get involved outside the immediate house where we live, so their environment. And this is one thing that I know that Tomi is very passionate about, because I've listened to some of her YouTube recordings when she talked about the importance of play. And many of us Nigerian parents, we feel that how can you be playing at this age? What are you playing about? But we have found out that play encourages and even makes our children smarter. It makes them adventurous. They observe a lot of things when they know what is going on in the environment. So let's create that atmosphere. Let's create that experience for our children, because beyond what we are hustling and getting money to buy for them, those experiences will never leave the memories of our children. Thank you so much, Tomi. I really enjoyed this very last part you shared, and I'm going to try and do that. The theme one you talked about, I am going to do that theme one. I'll get my children involved. Maybe they could also choose themes they want, so that it will not be that, mommy, you are the one that brought everything we want to learn. So to try and get them involved and make our homes that fun place. So you will find out that children will look forward to coming back home, and even share with their friends too, or even teachers, and tell them what is actually going on back at home. Thank you so much. We'll definitely connect with you. I'll put the link for your book and everything. And we hope when next we invite you, I know you always have a very busy schedule because of your homeschooling. And we hope that you'll be able to respond to our invitation another time, because I know that something is going to bring you back again very soon, sooner than you expect. Thank you so much. God bless you and everything that you do. Thank you.
Absolutely. As long as I'm informed beforehand, I can always plan around my schedule.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us this week on At Home with Ifeno. Check us out on Instagram at Ifeno17. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. See you next in 2 weeks' time.